terrorists, Ebola, what's next? News. News equals negative energy without substance. I came up with that. I'm pretty proud of that. You share that, you make that your mantra. News is negative energy without substance. And guess what? If you haven't noticed, it's 100% propaganda here in the US. Funny enough, we poo-poo all the other governments saying, oh, how bad China is. They minimize what the people know, and they tell them what they want them to hear. Well, that's exactly what's happened here, folks. If you don't think it is, there's things I'll post below that show exactly that's what's going on. Now, here's the second rub to it. There's agenda behind this news. The agenda is to instill fear in this society, because the government wants people to be scared and afraid, so that they need the government. And they'll come up with a common enemy. Who can, and there's strategists that are way better than me, there's marketers that are way better than me, there's copywriters that are way better than me, that are working for the government to instill this fear. They're working on headlines, they're working on news clips, they're working on things that they can exacerbate, that they can make these small things into huge problems and have the people call out for help. And sometimes, it's proven through history, they've actually had casualties that they've created to instill the fear that led to wars and various other implementations of processes and systems they wanted to implement, but they couldn't have without the people demanding it. So they create the demand. And that's what takes away our freedoms, the Patriot Act, etc. So just so you aren't aware, if you aren't aware, one of the news items that was kind of glossed over, because this would not be good for the propaganda machine, is that any U.S. citizen can be labeled a terrorist. You, me, anybody. There doesn't have to be anything bad that we have done. We can immediately be labeled a terrorist, removed from society, put away indefinitely without the right for an attorney, without the right for a speedy trial. We can be tortured, we can be killed, and they don't have to tell our family or the media why. Scratching my head. If you haven't heard of this, this is in effect. This is passed by our elected officials. It is 100% unconstitutional. It is 100% a violation of our rights. Yet the people were behind it and demanded it because we have to stop these terrorists. Those were, that's the umbrella common enemy that the government has been searching for forever. And their whole goal with their copywriters, their marketing strategists, is to put together this common enemy so that they can rally, get the fear to a point where they rally the citizens to demand the government to protect us. Help us, please. And now the big thing is Ebola, which is one example of many. Now the good part about this is it's proving that the scare factor is going through the roof. The minimal possibility of it actually catching and spreading is very minimal, less than 1% from research I've recently done. Now, not diminishing the lives that have been lost from this, but looking at the 5,000 plus false cases that have been reported, with 0 new cases since that one person in Texas was brought in. So it's raised the fear level to where everyone thinks they've got it. So it's on the radar, but there's very minimal chance. And my prayer and hope is that by all means, that nothing like that were to occur here. However, this is a perfect tool for the propaganda machine to grab a hold of, because it's got such small percentage, yet the fear factor is way high. What they won't focus on is the most dangerous thing that you and I could partake in on a daily basis, which is getting in our vehicle and choosing to be on the highways and roads. If they were to share how many people were maimed, killed, burnt, lost the ability to walk and lost the ability to talk, have to now live in a wheelchair, all the things that happen on a daily basis locally in your neighborhood, wherever you're watching this, and nationally, there wouldn't be enough time. Forget the 24 hours. They'd have to create more hours, because there's so many deaths, injuries, accidents that occur on a daily basis. The news channels would be full to the brim with it. But that would instill fear that would make none of us want to leave the house, which would be against the propaganda machine, because then the worker bees wouldn't be able to go do the work that's needed to be done, because everyone's too damn fearful to go out. Because this is a very high percentage of probability that you will be in an accident. Not a matter of if you will in your lifetime, you will be in several accidents in your lifetime. That's just fact. I'll list some facts below this video on my blog at tombeal.com to substantiate some of the claims I'm making here in this video if you haven't heard them. For instance, here's the mothers nowadays. Mothers have been trained, you got to wash your kids' hands. You can't, God forbid you let a baby get held by anybody who hasn't washed their hands. God forbid you let your child touch something and not wash their hands. Now you have mothers washing their hands, washing the kids' hands continually throughout the day with surgery prep accuracy. They're washing their hands and arms to a point they could go into surgery and be 100% germ-free. And the real probability of germs having a life-threatening impact, and I know this is going to get some OCD people and germophobia people to comment, which is great. Comment below. I'll put my facts on my blog at tombeal.com. Is extremely, extremely low. Yet these same parents who wash their child's hands on a continual basis throughout the day, 20 times in some cases, will improperly fasten their child in their car seat. So the most dangerous thing, the highest probability of risk, injury, and death, driving, they will do at a poor level, yet their hands are clean. The germs will not impact my baby, which has less than 1% chance of having any type of detrimental, in most cases, unless you're in like a germ-filled area, right, of having any type of impact. Yet driving, they will improperly fasten their child into their seat belts and or car child restraints. So that just puts it in perspective. So right now, Ebola is another perfect example, similar to terrorists, because that's one of many. See, this is something that I bet they're salivating. They're like, yes, we've got it now. Because once Ebola passes, then they can come out with the, what's the other one? The chicken, the swine flu was a big one back in the day. You know how many pigs were killed over this thing that had another thing that was exacerbated, made into this huge scare factor? The swine flu could come back, and or some type of crazy flu, or they can make up something and get that fear factor. They can make something up, produce the news where it has zero possibility of occurring, yet they could produce the news to where we are 100% in fear and would ask them for help. And that would also lead to them instilling and implementing an agenda that they can't pass on their own, but if we the people demand it, dang right, they're there to help us. So it's brilliant to witness and step back and observe. It sucks to be in this particular time feeling like there's nothing that we can choose to do about it. With that being said, what can you choose to do about it? Being that I said news is negative energy without substance, what I would recommend you do is unplug from it. Go on a news fast. Remove yourself from news. Trust me, the world will still occur. What will also occur is you will be happier. You will be more joyous. You will feel like you're able to do more things without fear, without worry, without concern, which won't have any impact on you. Yet I would warn you to stay very vigilant on the road, because not only is it the most dangerous thing that we can choose to partake in, but with these handy things that I'm recording right now, cell phones, if you drive on the highway and you look around left and right, you'll see 50% of the drivers are watching their cell phone and not the road. That's extremely dangerous and actually is killing people at rapid rates, which raises this risk of driving to even higher level. So be extremely vigilant while driving. Choose not to text. Below here, I'm going to share how I have implemented something that I just type in the letters DN at a stoplight, or if someone's texting me and I come to a stop, DN, it puts this whole paragraph saying I'm driving right now, I'm unable to reply, and I explain how I did this by only typing 2 letters. So that's going to be below too. I challenge you to choose not to drive and text, or text and drive as they claim. So don't do it. Lives are on the line, and other people are choosing to do it, so stay vigilant. And my hope is that you aren't in an accident caused by someone not watching the road, watching their phone. All right, so news is negative energy without substance. Do yourself a favor, break away from all your news addictions. It's propaganda. There's an agenda behind it, and the agenda is to instill fear. It's not to help you whatsoever. If anything's important, if there's a storm coming here, I'm going to hear about it, and I'll have a choice to either evacuate or whatnot. So yes, I stay away from the news, but anything that's relevant to me, I hear about. And I am looking out for myself. I plan on being around for as long as I possibly can be, but I also had my near-death experience. I know that I'm not going to live a second longer or a second shorter than I'm going to live. So while I'm here, I'm going to live, and I choose to live a life by faith versus by fear. That being said, I do a risk assessment. I'm a Marine. I was in 1993 to 1997. I'm a Marine. I am very aware and vigilant of my surroundings. I'm not going to put myself in a situation that would have me in a kill or be killed situation, or just a be killed situation. I'm vigilant of that. I'm not going to put myself in harm's way. That being said, I choose to drive on a daily basis, and I choose to do certain things that would put me in harm's way percentage-wise, but I choose to do them. All right? So that being said, what's important and what you need to hear about, you'll hear about. You won't miss a thing. When you do this news fast, negative energy without substance, you're going to be more joyous, more happy, more fulfilled, and it opens up your eyes. So I challenge you to do that. Feel free to use negative energy without substance. I'm happy that that one came to me somehow. But also choose to not text and drive, and choose to live your life by faith versus fear. It's a much more joyous path to choose by intention and to design your life versus have a life by default. I choose to live a life by design versus a life by default, and I challenge you to do the same. This is Tom Beal saying make today great. For more videos, go to YouTube, type in Tom Beal, T-O-M-B-E-A-L. You'll find over 250 other helpful videos. Feel free to like, comment, share, bash me on my stats, bash me on how this is ridiculous, whatever you want, post below. I'm looking here to get this word spread, save some lives, and save them realistically from not texting and driving, and save them by not living a life by fear, but living a life by faith, living a life by design versus a life by default. It's your life. Step up, go for it, make today great.